hope that you're doing well. It's Professor McKinney here, and we have a really exciting video coming up where we're going to be talking about workplace culture in Hong Kong. So let's dive in. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hello, John. I'm doing fine, thank you, and I'm very excited to be here with you today.
Yeah,
How are
yes,
you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've been looking forward to this conversation. Because you're in a really cool place, in my opinion. A place that I'd love to travel to and visit and maybe work at myself someday. So,
Wow. Yeah, I am in Hong Kong. You are
yes.
welcome anytime.
Um, well, perfect. For these interviews, they're for my students, and we like to talk to people all around the world about business culture. But I was going to see if you could tell us, about yourself, where you're from, where you live, and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to share this with you, to share a bit of my knowledge and expertise. I'm very happy. So I'm Murielle Gardret. You can see the name here over Zoom. Um, and I'm French, and I have been living in Hong Kong for 3 years. So my background is HR, but I started my career as a French teacher. So I love teaching, I love developing people, but I realized that the environment, in fact, I didn't like it. So I made some changes in my life. I don't explain everything. It's not the purpose here. It's not our topic here. Sorry. So, but I would say that the common grounds are people development, international, and pedagogy. So I'm passionate about people, cultures, and business growth. So I work in HR in the retail industry, fashion, luxury goods, and bank. And I set up my own company in 2007, so a long time ago in France, also in Morocco, because I live in 5 countries, 4 continents. So I live
Okay.
in Belgium, France, Canada, Morocco, and Hong Kong.
Wow,
Yeah.
you've been quite around.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, I love it. And so I wanted to have an experience, to leave Asia. And I arrived during the pandemic in Hong Kong. So it was a bit challenging, but just like everywhere in the world, I would say. And so here, um, I also set up my company and I have a chance to work with with people from various industries, from various cultures here in Asia, but not only in Asia, also everywhere in the world. So that's great. I work as a master coach here in
okay.
leadership development.
Awesome. Um, cool. Well, that's so fascinating. And in Hong Kong, the whole Hong Kong area is just a big city. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's what we call a market. So when we
Okay.
speak about Hong Kong, we don't use the word country, we use the word market. Yes, it's a big city. So there were around 7 million inhabitants here. So when I arrived, there were more international people, but many of them left due to COVID and due to current economical and political context. But I must say that it's always fascinating. Now it's also fascinating.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So it's a big city. So when we are in the center of the island, in fact, we can see all the skyscrapers, but it's much more than this. If you come, I would invite you to visit, to go in the south, to go in the north where I live. It's around 50% of the territories are composed of nature. So
Okay.
sea, and mountains. So in half an hour, you can be, you can leave the crowded and busy city, just like everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And in 30 minutes, you can go in the nature, hiking, swimming. It's quite different. It's amazing. It's very unique, according to me, in the world. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I just always thought of Hong Kong as, just being a big city, lots of skyscrapers, people working. So I never knew about 30 minutes outside of Hong Kong, you can enjoy nature and swimming and hiking, all of that.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah, true, because usually the skyscrapers are highlighted, but not the nature around. You can catch a ferry, and in 30 minutes in Central, and in 30 minutes you are on an island with local fishermen, local fish, seafood, restaurants, and so on. It's quite different. So there are different atmosphere. So welcome in Hong Kong to visit a bit, and I would invite you to visit with someone who lives here so you can see more.
okay, awesome. Um, well, so the second question I have, and I know
Yeah.
you've lived in a lot of different places, so answer this however you want to. But I was going to see if you could tell us about, workplace culture and business mannerisms, some of the different countries that you've lived at or worked in. I'd love to hear about Hong Kong, but also any other places you want to talk about as well.
Yes, so the culture here. So Hong Kong is a global commercial and financial hub. So it means that there are many banks here, lots of banks. But concerning the workplace culture, I would say there are some main differences between France and Hong Kong. So when I arrived here, I spent time to observe. And what I find really fascinating, even 3 years later, is the impact of Confucianism. Confucianism. Confucianism is a belief system here in Hong Kong, in China also, and in some other places in Asia. So the belief systems include some important values, such as harmony, for instance, respect to elderly, and other ones. So those main values impact the behaviors within companies, impact the behaviors in your leadership style. So it means that people are more collective. So the collectivism is really high here compared to France. France people are more individualistic, individualist. Yeah, yeah. So sorry if I make some mistakes sometimes, but it's okay. You can understand me. And I must say that the highest interest here is not you. It's the group, it's the community. So everything, so the behaviors in companies demonstrate this. For instance, if you if we have to make a feedback or if we want to collect ideas in a meeting, to collect ideas in a meeting here in Hong Kong. So people will not position themselves clearly because the group is important. The harmony, to keep the harmony in the group is really important. So in fact, even though someone disagrees with an idea or with an opinion, the people will not share this publicly because it's important to save face. So it's quite different from France. In France, in meetings, we are used to debating. So we debate, we give ideas, and we spend sometimes too much time to debate. So there's no decision making. So it's something else. It's another growth area in France. But here in Hong Kong, so in addition to, it's important to keep face, to save face, yours, but also the others ones. They focus on efficiency and they are very transactional. So it means that meetings, we are here not to connect, but we go directly into the topic, and it's very efficiency. In France, well, we are also here to connect. So we spend time to chat a little bit about something else and so on. And focus is also on efficiency, of course, but I would say we spend more time in connections. It's important. Some other differences also. Here, I was surprised in the beginning when I took part in some networking events, for instance, people that I didn't know at all. I didn't meet with them before. They gave me their business cards very quickly, even though before saying hello, oh, what's that? As a French, even though I lived in Belgium, Canada, and so on, and Morocco, of course, I need to connect. So, but here, they give the business card very quickly. And when you receive the business card, it's important to take it with two hands, and to look at the business cards, and I look at both sides. So it means respect, So keep this with two hands. It's really important. Also, when you receive money, from the shop, when you pay and so on, or when you pay, give with two hands. So it's something important. Another thing also is to take gifts. It's also important. So they love eating. So coming with something from France, they love it. Maybe biscuits or anything that we can eat, they are very thankful, grateful for this. So it's something important. So communication, courtesy, save face, be efficient, indirect communication. Here in Hong Kong, indirect communication compared to France, where we are in a more direct communication in the sense that we can express our ideas and we disagree, Yeah.
Okay.
Go. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing with all of that. I think it's interesting to me. Everyone I've talked to, and even myself in places I've traveled to, food is so important to everyone. I think just everyone in the world loves food, right? And of course, it's different, like the different types of cuisines you have in food. But I think people love food and eating and experiencing that together. um, I think is really important. So, yeah.
Yeah, true. And yeah, food is important. So it's also a way to connect,
Mhm.
It's also a way to connect and to exchange and to discuss about our respective cultures. I think about another main difference, cultural difference, if we have time.
Yeah.
So it's creativity. So I notice here, I'm also a board member at ICF Hong Kong chapter, International Coaching Federation. So it's an international federation, coaching federation, and there were some chapters everywhere in the world. So I noticed during the first meeting that I facilitated, it was during COVID time, but I'm responsible for the field, for the topic, But my way of working is very participative. And here, well, I noticed that people are not participative. So they expect from you, they expect from the manager, they expect from the leader a very clear direction. They expect very clear instructions. So when they get this, they know what they have to do. If they don't get this, they will not tell you because it's important to save face. They will not spontaneously ask some questions, but later you will notice that the work has not been done. So what's happened, you know? So I was expecting in the beginning, because I just arrived, so no time, no long time, or to observe. It was COVID,
Yeah.
so COVID, there was no meetings. It was just over Zoom. So I noticed that people didn't talk. So their way to participate in the meeting is to observe, to listen to you. It's another way. It's their way. It's not bad. It's not, and mine is not good. No, I just learned from this. So what I tried, and it was a success, to challenge them. So I challenged them and I explained what I wanted to design. I wanted to design a program that fits their needs. So I needed their feedback. I needed to understand what their needs were. So someone started talking a little bit, and then someone else. And then, it was okay. In the beginning, it was just a little bit. And the second meeting, they were a bit more talkative and a bit more talkative at the third meeting. So that's the main difference. In Hong Kong, people are not used to speaking. They expect from you to give a clear direction and clear instructions. They don't take so many initiatives because you are the manager. So they are very respectful of the hierarchy, you know. In France, it depends on the industries, it depends on the age also, of course, but we take initiatives and we give our ideas easily.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Awesome. So with Hong Kong being, a lot of respect for hierarchy and the boss and the managers, and saving face, like you've said, how does like family relations tie into things? Is there like a lot of respect for like family members and okay, I see you shaking your head yes. So
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. I have some friends. Have some Hong Kongese friends and Chinese friends, and I must say that So family relationships are also based on Confucianism. So it means
mhm,
that those values are important also in the family. So it means that keep faith is important. The same harmony is important. So one of my friends with Hong Kongese shared with me, oh, when I was younger, I was not allowed to share my ideas in the family until I started working. So if I disagree with an opinion with something, I didn't share anything. But
yeah.
when I started working, when I was hired in a company, so I was allowed. So it's really it's really important. And I must say that they are very well. They spend so much time with family during the weekend. They take care of the family, really, much more than in France, much more than in Belgium. It's like Italy and Spain maybe 30 years ago, or just like in Morocco, still now. So they share this. They take care of the family. So usually, well, I must say that families who have money, they live together in a bigger place. So the grandparents can take care of the kids, and while the parents are working or doing some exercises and so on, but usually um, some Hong Kongese, I must say, people who have some money, they can retire around 50, 55 women, to take care of the kids
Okay.
of their own children, grandkids. Um, so taking care of others is really important. And in China, mainland, because we make a distinction between Hong Kong and China. When we speak about China, we speak about China mainland. So um, in China, for instance, um, so it's the same. I had an idea, but poof, it left. No, no worries, it can come back. Um, it's the same. I would say that taking care of elderly. And here the weather is very hot in spring and summertime, very, very hot and humid. So each day, the whole year, we got many notifications from the for the weather, concerning the weather. And when it's hot, maybe 5, 6, 7 times a day, we got the same notifications. Take care of your elderly, visit your elderly, and be attentive, drink with them, and so on. It's recommendations on our phone every day,
Yeah.
every day, day. When the weather is hot, so elderly are really important, and there's this kind of respect.
Hmm.
And I must say it's funny because when I catch the MTR underground, well, the elderly, there was some reserved seats for elderly, but not so many people stand, and say to the elderly people, please sit down. In
Yeah.
France, we do this. Yeah, but not not all people, but it's in our culture, in the French culture. Here, no. So it's funny because they are very attentive, they take care, and at the same time, well, they are with their phone and the MTR, and they don't really look around them and give the seats to elderly. Well, it's a bit of paradox.
Okay.
But respect is important. Respect,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and
Awesome.
in company, who you know is important. Who you know. So the more you build relationships with your manager, so there's a tendency to mix also, So
Mm.
who you know is important, just like in Morocco. So we don't in Morocco. If you look for a job, the first question will be, who do you know? Not your skills, but who do you know? Who do you know is really important. Here, your network is really important. And in France, it's important in another way. So in France, the senior positions, usually people come from very famous universities, very famous business schools, and they have a tendency to hire their friends at higher positions, So it means that if you studied in another university or in a less well-known university or school, well, it's difficult to have a chance to get this kind of position. But it starts changing. It starts changing. But who you know is important also in France. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, so the last question that I have
Yes.
is, and I ask everyone this, right, because I think it's so important, but what advice would you have for my students that are interested in working internationally or even if they're interested in working in Hong Kong?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Yeah, so for students or all people working willing to relocate here in Hong Kong, I would advise you to observe, to be open-minded, be curious about the others. So, because human beings have a tendency to project, their biases, their own cultures, and their expectations, and the way they work. I would say adopt a beginner's mind. You don't know, just you are curious, you observe, and um, be inspired by other cultures because there's good, positive in all cultures. So that's what I would say. And um, yes, if you have a chance to make an assessment, an HR assessment on cultural orientation framework, for instance, and this assessment exists, but there might be other ones. So I don't want to advertise the one. I'm not here for this, but just to give you a chance to know yourself better concerning some very important categories when you travel, when you work overseas. It means your own relations to time management, your own relations to communication, for instance, and other big categories. So it will help you better understand yourself, your strengths, and your growth areas, depending on where you want to go when you want to work in the world. So you will know in advance what kind of shifts in behaviors and in your communication style you will have to do, and if you are ready or not to do this, to work on yourself, to adapt yourself. Hmm.
Awesome. That's great. I love HR assessments, right? Because I work in HR. So, um, yeah, no, you can never know too much about yourself, and it's always interesting to learn something new. So,
Yeah, true, true, true. And we always learn something new. And the last one I would like to add, if people want to work in France, it's be, yeah, to be well dressed because the first image is important. France is known for elegant, people are elegant in Paris. So it's important to be well dressed because you may be judged based on this. And it's a pity. I don't like the word judgment, but it's me. Some other people will can judge based on your clothes, on the way you are dressed. So it depends also on the industries. If you work in the IT industry, it's much more casual. But if you go to the fashion and luxury industry, I would recommend you to pay attention to your clothes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here in Hong Kong, people are much more um, humble. They don't take care, really, really.
okay, so,
Yeah.
awesome.
So, mm.
Well, thank you for all that information. It's been, it's been a pleasure talking to you and learning about France and Hong Kong. I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, it's a pleasure for me, and there was some common grounds between Hong Kong and Morocco. I just share two things: the respect of the respect of hierarchy, which is really important, and safe face. It's also important in Morocco. If you come to Hong Kong, I would recommend you to learn some Mandarin because Hong Kong becomes more and more Chinese centric. So, depending on your job, if you want to work in digital and or in HR, it's important now to know to speak Mandarin and Cantonese, but Mandarin is important. Yeah.
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 Do you
So
have a
thank you
good
so much.
example? Do you have a good example of something in Mandarin for us?
Yeah. Um, you want me to speak a bit of Mandarin? That's it?
Yeah, just maybe teach us a phrase real quick. That's really important.
Yeah, sure, sure. Um, Ni hao, ni hao, it means how are you? And the other one, 非常好, très bien, very good. And you, Nina, Nina. So in Mandarin, there were four tones. So if you use a word, for instance, ma, 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 maha. So depending on the way you pronounce, so there will be a different meaning.
Okay.
Okay, so there were four tones, but the structure of the sentence is easier than English. There are no tenses, for instance, no future, no past. So it's easier. So ni hao, 非常好. Or something else, maybe 我是法国人，我是法国人. It means I'm French.
Well, I won't be telling anyone that because I'm not French, but
It's in Mandarin. Yeah, in Mandarin.
perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.